Since Memorial Day's coming up, we're going to talk about a little bit about the armed forces. Over seven um, generations, the Daisies have been pretty well represented. There were no one in World War One. Dad's numbers had come up, and they were to be the next ones called, but the armistice was signed, so he was never ever called up. When World War II started, why Harvey, Dab Cogula's husband, he was the first to enlist, and he enlisted in the Seabees. Now, I don't know whether he was stationed in Australia or whether he just spent a lot of time there. Uh, Morse Days was in the European theater, and he drove a Jeep, a tank, a tank. And his unit was one of the first to liberate some town in France. His tank went across, and it was pretty rough because the Germans had just left, and the fella, Morse's best friend that was in the tank with him, was killed. And Morse said when they went in to this town, he said people come out in the streets and they started yelling, "The Yanks are coming, the Yanks are coming." And he said there was crying and there was laughing, and to this day, that town still has a celebration. That's one of their holidays that the Americans liberated them. Morse came home with a Purple Heart. Bill was in the Pacific Islands. Jay, he was also, Margaret's husband, Jay was also in the Army, and he was in Germany, and he came home with a Purple Heart. Joyce was the only girl in the armed services and peacetime. She was stationed in Greece and had a great time in the service. I think she was in 3 years. Kenny enlisted when he was 17, and he was stationed on Saipan for over 2 years. He was a pharmacist's mate, and when it was just kind of a MASH unit when they landed, because that island hadn't been completely secured yet. He said one of the first things they told him when they got there was, when you sleep at night, sleep in the middle of the tent. Don't sleep along the edge of the tent, because sometimes some of these Japanese are hid out in caves. There are a lot of caves, I guess, on Saipan. And every once in a while, Japanese would get behind the guards and come in and stab her, these tents and so on, or cut them like that, and hope that they would hit somebody sleeping there. And he was told, since he was a pharmacist mate, not to make any real close friendships, because he didn't know what he might have to help do while he was there. But he did get acquainted with the radio man, and he was from Rulton, and he happened to be a cousin to Morse and Bill. And so they didn't know each other, but they knew a lot of different people that they knew. I knew him, and they did exchange news from the letters that were few and far between arriving there. And I don't know what the rest of them did on that island, but anyway, there was quite a few of them that were stationed there for the full 2 years. After, let's see, then Michael was a career Marine. It was peacetime, and he was discharged with a gunnery sergeant. And after, I think in the family, next was Ryan. And he is a load master still in today. And peacetime, but he has flew all over. And then Alvin, with Betty's husband, he was a Marine, and he was in the I think of it, Korean War, and I don't know for sure where he was stationed at, but he was overseas. And then Don was Air Force, and it was peacetime. He wasn't. I don't think he went overseas. And then all four of George's boys was in. Bob was Merchant Marines, and he was in during the war. And then I just don't know quite how it worked. He was in for a while, and then he'd sign up and go back for a while. And he was in until off and on until he had to go home to help with the farm work because George got so he couldn't do it anymore. Gene was Coast Guard. And Ted, I don't know too much about Ted, except that he was in the Navy and he was stationed in Florida, and he was killed in a boating accident, not military related. And then there's Richard. And Richard, I tell him that he's gone full circle, because he started out being a farm boy and helping do the farm work and so on, and then he went to college and got his veterinary license, and that's what he was in the service in the Army. And he was career, and he retired with a lieutenant colonel. And after he was discharged and so on, why, he became a Catholic priest, as he is today, and now he's back in the farming business again. So I tell him he's just about gone full circle around. Okay, the ones that were on Saipan, there was a fellow that was a little bit older than the rest of them. Kenny was the youngest one, and his next to the youngest one, and over there, and there was one that was Art King was his name, and he was a month younger than Kenny. Well, anyway, this oldest one decided one summer that they needed to have a reunion, and I imagine there was probably, I don't know how many, it was the original ones that were there. So he invited two couples to his house one summer, and he told them, he said, I think we need to have a reunion. So the five of well, really six, his wife helped too. 6 of them got together, going to have a reunion, and they thought that Branson would be about the middle of the place, and it was a place that they could, do other things too, and do some sightseeing and so on. So they got this unit together, and I think we went back six different times. And the sad part about the reunion was that the fellow that organized it and so on was never able to attend any reunion. His health gave out, and his wife came for a couple of years, and then his son and daughter-in-law, they came, and they said they were taking his place. And so they did.
Over there, come.